Hi there, my name is Tracy Tobin and I am a local artist within Lambton County. Today I will be recording myself as I produce a piece of artwork. So a art tutorial, my first ever video actually, so it'll be interesting and quite exciting actually. This piece of art will be heart-shaped. It is for the Connecting Hearts initiative within the St. Clair Catholic District School Board to share connection, especially for the kids right now. It must be a confusing time for them. So follow along or save it and create on your own time. Won't you join me? Okay, so now we're going to review the supplies that you'll need for this project. I'm using a canvas for acrylic paints, but you can use a nice thick piece of paper. That would work just fine. I've got my pencil, an eraser, a square piece of paper, and if you don't have square, don't worry about that. Have your scissors and your ruler ready, and we'll go over that instruction. I happen to be using some recyclable containers. I have a plastic lid that I am going to be using to put my paint on, and a plastic container for my water to wash my brushes. I also have an old tea towel that I'm using. Any old cloth will do, or even paper towels if you have that at home. And brushes. So I've got a large, medium, and small brush. One brush will do just fine, or if you have one larger one and one smaller one, that would be great. I have my plastic cover over my table to protect it. And for this project, we're just going to need our primary colors. Your yellow, red, blue, and also the black for the land and the heart. Okay, and then last but not least, I have a blow dryer on hand, so that when we do our first layer, I can blow dry that before I put on my second layer. But you can take your time, let it air dry, and then get back to your second layer when you're free and when it's nice and dry. Okay, so it looks like we're all set and ready to go. I'm seated and all set to get started. Before I even pour some paint out, I'm going to take some time to create a square-shaped stencil. From that square shape, we are going to cut out the heart shape to put in the middle of our paper, or in my case, it's a canvas. You could use cardboard, whatever you decide to create your art on. Oh, even a piece of wood. So we need a square piece, depending on the size of your paper. Okay, so I'm going to focus on the width here. Okay, that is my shortest length to deal with. So I'm going to consider my shortest, and that is 20 centimeters. My square is going to have to be less than 20 centimeters in order to fit within this canvas. We want our heart, like this one, to sit in the middle of our canvas. We are going to paint black all the way around this heart, and our art is going to be painted on the inside of the heart. So this black frame will create a really beautiful contrast and bring out all those colors in your piece of artwork and show where the focus is. And it's going to be the sunrise, and it's going to be family, okay, or whatever you choose to put in your heart. Okay, so let's start with our sheet of paper. I happen to have a piece of photocopied paper. So I've already sort of jotted down my lines. I've decided that I'm going to just bring this canvas back over for a second. I'm going to just take away 1 centimeter from each side of my canvas. That's all. That's the frame I'm going to leave. Taking into consideration when I draw out my heart, it might be even a little bit shorter than that, or a little bit longer. Okay, when we're considering it on the edge of the canvas here. Okay, because we're not going to use the whole heart, the whole square when we draw out our heart. Okay, I'm trying not to get too wordy here, so how about I just get to action? So if I started with 20 centimeters and I'm going to take away 1 centimeter on one side and 1 centimeter on the other side, 1 and 1 is 2. take away 2 from 20, that will be 18 centimeters. So I'm going to create a square that is 18 centimeters. Okay? So I went and measured out 18. I did my dots all the way down the page, and I will draw my line. So now it is 18 centimeters in one direction, and then I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to find 18 centimeters in the other direction. Okay, and I've done that. Perfect. One more should do it. Well, actually, let's put one more just to be on the safe side. There we go. So I've just put little dots down, and now I'm connecting the dots. And that will give us our square right here. So I'm going to cut that out. And so there we'll start with a perfect square shape, and from there we will draw out our heart. Now a heart is symmetrical, so this is why we've started with a perfect heart or a perfect square. I'm getting tongue-tied. Okay, how do we do that? I am going to fold my paper in half. So I'm going to just meet the edges. I'm going to hold it down here. I'm going to bring my hand down. I'm going to fold that out. Okay. Now this fold here will be the center of our heart. Okay. So when we lay it down, we want to make sure that we start drawing from the center of where that fold is. Okay. Okay. And what does a half a heart look like? Well, it comes down like this. Let's see. I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to go along the edge as close as I can. I got to hold that paper down so it doesn't fly up on me here. Okay, as close to the edge as I can there so I don't waste too much paper. I'm going to switch it up a bit. I'm going to come down here. Okay, and then we're going to bring that line all the way over to the very bottom corner there. Okay, so that will be the shape of our heart. And when I cut this out, you'll get the full heart. Okay, so we just drew half of the heart there. And get all this cut out. There's the middle of the heart there, the little dip in the center. Okay, we'll get rid of our scrap paper. And there's my nice heart. Perfectly symmetrical heart. And that's going to fit really nicely in the middle of my canvas. Perfect. Okay, on to the next step. So I've got my colors poured out, my canvas. I'm going to turn it sideways. It's just easier for me to paint in that direction. Starting with the blue. And we're just going to create rows of the colors. I'm going to add some of the reds. What we want to try to accomplish is a blending of the colors. So it's a smooth transition from one color to the other. So add a little bit more of the red and then a little bit more of the blue. And add a few more layers of the red. And there's still a little bit of blue in my brush. So I'm still picking up a little bit of that blue. So I'm going to give my brush a good wash and then dry it off and pick up some nice clean red. There we go. Looks good. Let's grab some yellow. I'll start adding that in there, and it's going to turn a beautiful vibrant orange. That's the color we like. There we go. Okay, a lot of yellow on the brush now. I want to cover all of that canvas or paper, whichever you're working on. Beautiful. That looks pretty good. Let's get my heart. Okay. So I noticed that the blue wasn't down far enough on the canvas. It won't show up once I have my heart placed in the center of the canvas to trace it. So I've added more blue, a little bit more red. We're going to keep adding the blues and the reds to blend those colors together as well. And once I'm happy with that, I can let it sit or blow dry it. Okay, it's nice and dry. Grab my heart. Where do I want it positioned? This looks pretty good. All right, I'm going to trace it out. So we're just using the heart as our stencil. There we go. Looks good. I'm using my small brush. I've grabbed, first I wet my brush a little bit actually, and then just dabbed it on my towel. Grab some black paint, and I just traced that outline that I drew. And I'm gonna do a little bit of a thicker border here. There, now I'm grabbing my thicker brush so that it's a little quicker. I'll get some more paint on there, and we're going to fill in all that area around the outside of the heart. There we go. Looks good. You'll notice those white edges. So let's fill that in. Let's take our black and continue along the whole edge of the frame to complete it. There we go. Makes it nice and clean and neat and finished looking. There we go. Okay, so just finish up little touch-ups here and there. And now what am I going to draw? Let's put a little bit of ground on there. Okay, and I've decided to put some people. So I'm just drawing some stick figures at first just to get my positioning in there. And that looks good. So I've decided it's going to be a boy and a girl. So I'm working on the girl now. They're raising their arms. They're excited for a new beautiful day. So she's going to wear a little dress. That way we know it's a girl. and then a little boy. They could be brothers and sisters. They could be friends. They could be cousins. You can make up your own little story. You could have 2 girls or 2 boys. It's up to you. There we go. So I just layer it and keep adding in the details until I'm happy. Voila, that looks great. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for joining me. Until next time, stay strong, stay safe.